Hey everybody, welcome to the Employee Trap Podcast. I'm your host, Keith Kelpis today. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I have a very special guest for you today. Actually, a good friend of mine. His name is Eric Reno. This man is an entrepreneur of entrepreneurs, and I'll tell you why. Because he came from humble beginnings, and he actually figured out from scratch how to build a service company up to where it is today and does over $1 million in business a year. Everybody, I want you to turn off your cell phones, anything that's vibrating, beeping, or buzzing, and just really listen in on this because you're going to want to hear what Eric has to say. He's definitely somebody you're going to want to listen to. Eric, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I want you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself and kind of talk about where you came from, what you did for a living, what you do for a living, and then the steps you took and the fears you overcame into really getting your own business off the ground.
All right. Well, I'm 29 now. I started my business when I was 24. I came from nothing, to be honest. I used to live on the streets. I dealt a little with a lot of problems as far as the law goes, just trying to, get money and, get out of the struggle, get a house for myself. A few years ago, I started my own company called Paramount Incorporated. We do roofing, siding, insulation, gutters, pretty much anything exterior. So now everything's up and running, but it took a long time to get here. A lot of struggle, a lot of fears of, can I do it? Is there enough business out there? Do I have enough capital to start? Is there enough customers that will, catch on to me in so little time with being in business such a little time? It's just been, an overwhelming experience coming from, absolutely nothing to where I am now, starting just as a laborer carrying shingles up the ladder, breaking my back, working 12 hours a day for $15, $20 an hour. So it's just been a battle ever since then. And I mean, still is, but now it's more of a comfortable life where I don't have to worry about bills and, what's coming in, what's going out. It's just more of a, a constant push to keep the machine running.
Now, let me ask you, that's awesome, Eric. What was the defining moment where you snapped, where your strength snapped, and you had what we call an entrepreneurial seizure, where you said, I can't do this anymore. I've got to be in business for myself. Can you tell that story?
Yeah, it was a long struggle. When the person that trained me made his own company, and I was all in at that point. I was like, I'm going to blow up his company. And that's exactly what I did. I started knocking on doors. I got aggressive. I got my own card. Wherever I went, I represented him. And the further we got along, I seen he was making all this money, and I was, making $20 an hour. So on a good week, man, I was maybe making $1,000, $1,200, but he was pocketing $5,000 to $8,000. And I noticed it. I did his payroll. I did all that stuff. So he kind of let me in a little bit too far to where I knew all the numbers. And eventually I was just like, he started, going off on me. This job's not done in time. We're not making enough money. Really, he wasn't making enough money. We all made money. All made production. I did the payroll. I knew the numbers. So after doing that, I went on my own. I started subcontracting, and again, making money for someone else, but a much higher dividend, but I still worked my balls off completely to the bone, like all day slave. And I was in charge of the crew. I had my own insurance, so anything that went wrong was my liability. So the weight was all on my shoulders. And I said, if I can do that and make, this guy thinks I'm the best, then, it's time for me to go on my own. So I made a company, made a logo that people would know. Everywhere I go to Keego Harbor or Sneds in Livonia, and I'm not even from that area, and people just say, oh, yeah, I've seen you guys around. I've seen that logo. And this was before I even had a trailer or a truck with my logos on it. So I knew that when I made this company and made the brand and made the image, that it was already going to be recognizable because Paramount Building Incorporated, of course you heard about it. The name's Paramount. There's Paramount Pictures, Paramount Coffee. So it's something that already clicked and registered in people's heads. So, yeah, that's what I did. I got an SEO company. I told them I want the best website you guys can possibly make.
Now for the listeners here, real quick, let me back you up a little bit because I think you might be using a little bit of language that a person listening might not understand yet. When you said you got an SEO company, what is that?
It's pretty much where people can go on Google from their phone. Say you live in Rochester, you're looking for a roofing contractor. You go to Google, you type a roofing contractor. Google's going to find anything, the closest place and the best person for you. That's their job. They want to bring you the best experience. So you pay companies to advertise you, quote unquote, on the web and make you easy to find. So I paid them. I got my website. It's called meta tags and stuff like that, to where they encrypt the back of your website to where people can find you. So I made myself, invested a lot of money into making myself easy to find.
Now, one more thing for the listeners at home or driving, whatever you're doing. When you said you paid them, are you saying you paid them before you could afford to pay them? Was it scary? Did you take a risk to go out and pay for that advertising to get that work?
Absolutely. I've always, saved and saved and saved, lived below my means. So I had, money stocked. But yeah, I paid, $15,000 right off the top just for the logo, the brand. I had the website actually built twice because it wasn't satisfactory the first time. And yeah, absolutely, man. Took the plunge. I was, all in. So, but once you're all in, you get that hunger inside you. Like, damn it, I have to get it. There's no one holding your hand. You got to go out there and get it yourself. So until you put yourself in that environment, in that space, you really don't know what it's like. That's where a lot of that fear comes from for employees. Like, what if I quit my job? Is there enough work? Will people find me? Will I starve? Will, my wife leave me? Will my kids be hungry? But once that animal in you is released, you go out there and find it,
That's powerful. That's powerful. I actually read a book by Seth Godin called The Dip recently, and he says in the dip, you're going to go through some pain and some struggle, and the deeper and harder that dip. The dip is designed to keep people, the haves from the have-nots, the people from not being successful to being successful. And he says the people that go for broke, that they just get sick and tired and they snap and they just put their own backs up against the wall, that warrior does come out and then they will prevail. And, I want to tell the listeners at home another thing, you guys, that whole 9 out of 10 businesses fail in the first 5 years and another 9 out of 10 businesses fail. And the chances of you making it, those are statistics, But I also want to say there's a lot of bullshit and negativity out there. And don't listen to people who don't own businesses, especially who have failed in business. Just like you wouldn't take marriage advice from somebody who's failed in marriage. You wouldn't take golfing instructions from someone who sits around and watches golf. Right now we're on the phone with an entrepreneur who has done it from scratch. So another piece of advice, if you could give the guys at home when they're afraid and they're about to take that leap or they want to start their own business, what are a couple more tips that you can give them as far as releasing that animal inside to just going out and taking that step?
Well, first I wanted to recap on what you said about the 9 out of 10 businesses fail in the first 5 years and this and that. When you put it on that scale like that, you're talking about people that aren't 100% all in. You know what I'm saying? They're not all in. You get people that do work on the side, start small businesses on the side, wives that start, small business where they don't really need the capital, or, you have business people that aren't really business minded or aren't all in. So when you say, 9 out of 10 businesses fail, well, 9 out of 10 people fail. But, if you scale it up to people that are hungry and people that want it, there's absolutely no reason you can't go out there and get it. There's enough work and enough out here for all of us in any industry. All you got to do is put your balls on the table. As far as tips go, definitely, be aggressive. Be 100% aggressive. Don't be scared to just jump in, dive in, get it. Just like, the first time maybe your boss left you alone on the job as a foreman, or the first time you were given a responsibility and, it makes you nervous. It makes you nervous. Can I do this? You start questioning yourself. You can't ever question yourself. You just say, yes, I can do this. I've already done it. I've done this 100 times. Now that I'm on my own, why would I not be able to do it? Why could I not figure it out? It's all your mind trying to say no from what you've been taught. It's you got to release and just say, God damn it, I can do it. And you pound your chest like a goddamn gorilla, and that's it. You go get it. You make no choices.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm sure a lot of people that you guys are listening right now can resonate with that. Now, how can people find you? Would you got a website, a Facebook fan page, a LinkedIn?
All of it. I take advantage of anything that's free. Facebook, Tumblr, WordPress, Pinterest, YouTube, all that stuff. Take advantage of it. It's free. It takes, a little bit of time to set up, but once it starts going, it's going.
And blast out your website for us. What's the name of your website?
ParamountBuildingInc.com.
ParamountBuildingInc.com, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're going to wrap up the podcast for you right now. It's a rainy day here in June in Michigan, and today is a great day. So you got any last things you want to say, Eric, before we wrap up?
No, just go out there and get it. And, it's, like I said, don't be scared. You've already done it. You just done it for somebody else. Why not do it for yourself? All
right. Good job, Eric. Cool. All right. This is the Employee Trap Podcast, and my website is the landscapingemployeetrap.com. Eric, again, is ParamountBuildingInc.com. And you guys go out there and get it done. Take it easy. Bye.